Whenever a disaster strikes, we look for a reason. And if there is more than a reason, a villain even better. Now we have the mainstream media jumping around screaming environmental protection, administrative flaws and lack of foresightedness in the Joshimath disaster. Don't ask them where they were when many warned about this well before. That's a cliche. Media celebrates events, not the curtain raises. So we are bringing to you some of those warning shots fired long back and how all of them were overlooked or buried. Welcome to the Money Trail. So, the chart topper in the I told you before round is the resignation of Ravi Chopra. He is a well-known environmentalist and was the chairman of the Supreme Court panel on Char Dham road project. He resigned the post 1 year back. Char Dham is the ambitious project to build a 900-kilometer all-weather road that will connect the 4 pilgrim centers, Badrinath, Kedarnath, Gangotri and Yamunotri, all high up in the Himalayas. And Joshimath is on the way to Badrinath. Ravi Chopra wanted one-way roads in the Char Dham project so that the width of the passage will be less, which means less activity in the ground. But the union government wanted it a two-way and hence more wider roads. When the government overruled his suggestion, he decided to quit. And his parting words were, and I quote from the resignation letter, "They are forgetting that they cannot survive if their own natural environment is destroyed." And within a year, the town of Joshimath sinks. 22,000 inhabitants are left homeless. How did Ravi Chopra predict it? Millions of years ago, the Indian plate moving through the ocean had collided with the Eurasian plate, creating the Himalayas. That plate movement is not over yet. So, mighty Himalayas are still growing. All the townships and the ambitious projects humans are building there are in this still active sensitive zone. Remember the devastating earthquake of 2015 that killed about 9,000 people in Nepal. In this region, earth shakes many times a year in various intensities. And on top of this, we have global warming, which is speeding up the melting of glaciers, causing heavy rains and flash floods. The Himalayas have been warmer by 1.8 degrees Celsius in the past half century, higher than in many of other parts of the earth. The deluge that sank Kedarnath in 2013 is just one among many. And don't think that it's one single road project that's causing all the havoc. There are a lot of hydroelectric projects, some working and 8 under construction in the state of Uttarakhand, and many other projects also. The most notorious among the ongoing power projects is the Tapovan Vishnugad power project. In 2021, a glacier burst destroyed many parts of the project. Another one, the Rishi Ganga hydel project, was completely demolished. More than 200 workers working inside the tunnels lost their lives. There are about 66 such tunnels that are being dug up in the state right now, and one is going near and almost underneath the Joshimath town. Imagine all those boring, blasting and drilling happening in the extremely fragile land. Soon after the 2021 disaster, the activists and residents of Joshimath went to the Uttarakhand High Court to stop the hydel projects. Now you viewers know the merit in their prayer. But not only the petition was rejected, but each of them were fined 10,000 rupees by the court. The honorable judges found them not fit to file the petition. Now these people stand homeless, staring at the whole system. If you think that these two incidents were not big enough to grab attention, we have an official study report from 1976, the Mishra Committee report. It warned against the heavy constructions, agriculture on slopes, felling of trees, and directed to build proper drainage system so that the water won't sink in. And mind you, this report was exclusively about Joshimath. But nothing happened. This entire town sits on the debris of another landslide that happened long back. So even without any such expert report, you need only common sense to understand the danger. And if you want some scientific explanation, the region has water-bearing rocks known as aquifers under the ground, and if it bursts, millions of liters of water will gush out. It has happened before. With the water gone, the earth will sink, just like what happened in Joshimath last month. We don't know exactly what caused the town to sink, but with all the boring for the tunnels happening, a burst in the aquifer is also a possibility. Or it can be the pressure of huge constructions happening for tourism.
आज एक तरफ एनटीपीसी दावा कर रहा है कि हमारी वजह से नहीं हुआ है, दूसरी तरफ बीआरओ दावा कर रहा है, बॉर्डर रोड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, कि हमारी वजह से, हमारे हाईवे की वजह से भी ये नहीं हुआ रहा है। तो फिर हो किस लिए रहा है? तो इसका अभी उन्होंने कोई कमेटी बिठाई है, लेकिन कमेटी क्या बोलेगी हम सबको पता है। उन्होंने ये गैग ऑर्डर जो किया है कि इसरो को बोल दिया कि और संस्थाओं को बोल दिया कि आपको मीडिया को कुछ देना नहीं है इन्फॉर्मेशन, उसी से पता चलता है कि वो किस दिशा में जा रहे हैं। और जो उत्तराखंड के चीफ सेक्रेटरी और चीफ मिनिस्टर ने खुद ने बोला है कि ये मैन मेड डिजास्टर नहीं है। वास्तव में वो बिल्कुल मैन मेड डिजास्टर है ये। और ये इंसिडेंटली तपोवन विष्णुगढ़ जो एडीबी फंडेड प्रोजेक्ट है, इसकी कोई इवन इकोनॉमिक वायबिलिटी नहीं है। उससे जो बिजली बनेगी उसकी कॉस्ट 6, 7, 8, 9 रुपये से ज्यादा होगी। उसका जो ओरिजिनल प्रोजेक्ट कॉस्ट 2,800 करोड़ था, वो आज 7,200 करोड़ से ज्यादा बढ़ चुका है।
But the million-dollar question is not how, but why. Why are huge projects allowed one after the other? If the all-weather Char Dham road project is completed, tourists and pilgrims will flock in throughout the year. More money can be made. If more and more hydel projects are commissioned, more electricity for the nation can be produced. All good. But what if the whole region is devastated in the process? What if the people will either die or get evicted? The government, the executive, and even the judiciary shy away from such questions. Meanwhile, the taxpayers' money flow into these projects either as capital or for repayment of loans. For multinational agencies and banks, such projects are gold mines.
Asian Development Bank has actually funded NTPC. So through NTPC, they have funded a number of projects, but two in particular. One is the Tapovan project, which is in contention right now, and there is another one hydroelectric power project, not in the same area, but another project which they are funding through NTPC. But that's not all. I think we also need to understand that it is not only about the project, it's also about the associated facilities. For a long time, World Bank stayed away from it, but they again came back into this funding in late 2000s, and they gave funding to the Vishnugarh People Koti run of the river hydroelectric project. From the very inception of it, there have been problems. Communities had been raising around that area. In 2014, the inspection panel actually came out with a report. If you actually look at that investigation report, it's extremely shoddy. It also, the kind of reasons they have given in terms of believing what the inspection panel says that the bank has done enough is really substandard. The mitigation, in fact, even the mitigation plan they gave, which was going to be implemented then, was extremely shoddy. So today we in 2022, when they came out with the last monitoring report, I think that's the 7th or the 8th monitoring report they came out with, you can still see that shoddy sort of an mitigation plan, even that has not been completely met till today.
The World Bank and Asian Development Bank make the accountability mechanism a joke by throwing away the complaints of the affected people under some pretext. Meanwhile, the Indian banks don't have any such system at all.
The challenge with Indian banks is that most of them don't even have a environmental and social safeguard policy. Let alone the question of having an accountability mechanism. Most of them rely on the national laws and clearances that the government gives for the projects. And even if you look at a few banks who have a policy, environmental and social safeguard policy, it's really shoddy, minimalist, does not cover comprehensively all the environmental and social aspects. And unfortunately, they don't have a separate department which is completely looking into this aspect of safeguards. So then there is no standard setting in terms of actually looking at what are the impacts these massive infrastructure projects can cause, and how do you critically analyze the risk assessment of some of these projects. Is it merely financial? Are we not looking at anything beyond finances and not looking at what is the impact that these projects are having on our people and our environment?
The bottom line is money rules. If it is legally and environmentally clean, let it be so. But no money-making business is going to stop because the environment is hostile or the local people will suffer. The battle lines are clear. It's the common people against the huge money-making nexus between the government machinery and financial institutions. What happened is not the beginning, and of course, it will not be the end. Brace for impact. Goodbye till we meet again.